from the bowling capital of the world, America's #1 bowling show. Championship Bowling. From the Firestone Bowl, Rama, it's the World Series of Championship Bowling here in Akron, Ohio. I'm Fred Wolf. It's the final 6 games over the next 2 weeks between Dick Weber, the National All-Star Champion, and young Nelson Burton Jr. from St. Louis. Working with us as usual, Big Bill Bonetta. Bill, looks like a pretty good one going.
Oh, it looks like a great one, Freddie.
Well, how do you pick the two of them?
Well, just looking at the two of them, they're both slim, they're both trim. Dick Weber could be called anybody's All-American without any argument because of his fine performances and pro circuit and also national tournaments. And a fellow who's been idolizing him for maybe 10 years without copying his style or mannerisms, Nellie Burton, the son of a Hall of Famer, Nellie Burton, and should be a very interesting match.
I think it will be. $10,000 to the winner, $5,000 to the runner-up, 6 games total pins. Let's bring them out here. Introducing first, and I guess we'll do it with the senior member of the finals from St. Louis, one of the greatest, Dick Weber. Richard? Dick?
Ready, thank you.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Well, you've had a week to work out. You in pretty good shape?
Well, feeling pretty good shape.
Last week you got past Billy Hardwick to meet your youngster. What would you call him, your protege?
Well, I'm proud of that. I mean, I'm glad I was his idol, but I want to beat him real bad.
This wouldn't be right for the master to beat his protege, would it really?
Why not?
Why not? All right. Let's bring him out here and find out why not. Nelson Burton Jr., ladies and gentlemen. Over here, Nellie. Well, looks like we're in a rut here. Protege, master.
Well, I'm here to beat him.
You're here to beat him. He's here to beat you.
Well, I think I want to beat him a little worse than he wants to beat me, though.
Really?
Really.
Now, you boys know the rules. It's ABC-sanctioned competition. You'll go 6 games. 3 games this week, 3 games next week. Total pinfall will decide the winner. Bonus system, 5 strikes in a row starts you with $250. Nelson, you're averaging $221 for the 9 games that you've appeared here on Championship Bowling this year. Is this satisfactory to you? Are you going to improve a little on this?
No, I'd like to boost it in these next
You'd like to
games.
boost it. Did you hear that, Richard?
Yes, I did.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ready. Let's give them a nice start here and get this one underway. Good luck here. The first game of Championship Bowling's World Series, just a minute away, right after an interesting word. Dick Weber winning the toss, starting this match, shakes him up. A strike in the first frame, and that's the tough one as his young opponent, Nelson Burton Jr., starts it off on the right side. It'll be 6 games. 3 games this week, and the final 3 next week. $10,000 to the winner. Nelson Burton averaging $221 for his 9 games. In, and he carries. Oh, that's a soft one, Bill.
Oh, boy. Freddie, this fellow has learned at an early age to respect all his opponents and fear none. He admires Dick Weber, I'm sure, but he doesn't fear him a bit. He's out to win. Dick's out to win. They're both excellent performers. We should see quite a match.
Nelson Burton, born in St. Louis in 1943. For the quick double. He dropped it, may get up, doesn't get enough of the pocket. He has the 2, the 4, and the 5. It'll be interesting here, Bill, whether the experience that Weber, of course, has accumulated over the years will be the factor, whether the youngster, Nelson Burton Jr., can still come through with the strikes that he's going to need to beat the master, beat his master, Dick Weber. doesn't get there. Open frame for Burton in the second, and that's his first miss, Bill, in 9 games.
That was a tough spare to convert to 2-4-5, especially leading it the way he did, a little bit light. Wasn't sure whether the ball would come up or not. Took a chance, and it didn't.
Just a little high. Weber unable to get away, and a great chance for a running start with a double, getting on Burton's miss. So the young fellow will only be 10 pins out as Weber looks at the 4-pin. Be careful. Be careful. And there we've seen it again, Bill. On the left corner of this lane 24 at the Firestone Bowl Rama in Akron, Ohio, we've watched the best of them miss that spare on the left side.
Well, it'll happen, Freddie. That's the tendency on lane number 24. Once it gets beyond center, it continues to go. Dick was well aware of that, but he still couldn't compensate for it.
7-pin. Dick's ball seemed to be sliding away from the pocket on that hit.
Yes, I think lane number 23, he's attempting to roll the ball a little bit harder than on 24, and in attempting to do so, occasionally the ball will skid too far.
He didn't make a mistake on that one.
He took no chances there.
So Nelson Burton Jr., missing a spare in the second, watched his master miss a single-pin spare. So the match is even at the end of 2, 19-28 for each man. Big lift, and he's high. Leaves the 10-pin.
Well, he pulled that one considerably, Fred. And recalling a match recently that he bowled in, he did that about 3 times on 24. And I'm sure that he will try not to do that again.
There's the cover for Burton in the third. Nelson Burton Jr. in his first match defeated Ray Bluth. He shot 694. Then he defeated Jack Biondolillo with 635. In the semifinals, he defeated Harry Smith with 664. There it is. So Burton now with a strike in the fourth as Weber moves in the fourth.
Actually, the speed of the ball and the path of the ball are quite similar for these two bowlers. Pretty direct, fairly fast.
Weber breaking up that 4-6. So Burton now in the advantageous position with his strike going for him in the fourth and the lead of 1 pin. I think Dick is being very careful on those spares. That 4-pin is going to keep him alert on every spare from here on, I'm sure of that. Last week, you watched Dick Weber defeat Billy Hardwick, 672 to 613. Dick piling up 20 strikes over the 3 games. In the first game, he never had a double. 5-7, and the 7 remains. And now Burton, who is on that strike, can get a running start. We're halfway in the first game of 3. Championship bowling, the World Series, from Akron, Ohio, the home of Firestone. Hustle. Gives it a cut. And Weber covers it up. Well, if Burton had any ideas, Bill, of picking up 20 pins on that split, he finds now that he'll need the strike to pick up only 10.
Well, Weber certainly followed the arrow, the ball path indicator on our AMF spare maker there. Cut the 5-pin in front of the 7, used the sideboard, and converted the spare.
For the first double of the match, too high, 3-6-10. Both these boys are wearing the King Louis All-Star bowling shirt. On championship bowling, Our entire field of 24 of the world's greatest bowlers were wearing the King Louis bowling shirt. You can wear one too. 3, 6, 10. Cover. So at the end of 5 frames in the first game, the finals of the World Series of Championship Bowling, Weber 65 spare, Burton 68 spare. That's there. Solid 10-pin for Burton here in the 6th frame of the first game. Bill, I'm sure you'll remember Burton's performance in his first out when he met Ray Bluth on this left lane, which we refer to. It's lane 23. He left a solid 10-pin just like that one in the first frame of the first game and struck all the way out, 16 in a row on the left side.
Well, as Weber has mentioned before, the key to winning this match on this pair is lane number 23, and with the fantastic record that Burton has had, Weber's job is certainly cut out for him.
Careful. Careful. Weber high again. Leaves another 6-pin here on the right side.
He indicated that he pulled that one short. Cut it a little short, pull it. Dick likes to go through the ball cleanly, he says. And a couple of those balls he cut a little short.
There's a spare. So at the end of 6, as the boys continue to spar, sparring here to get that string of strikes started, Weber 84 spare, Burton is 87 spare. In our audience this week, Mr. Charles Ryan, the Director of Advertising of the Firestone Tire and Rubber Company. An organization very interested in bowling. Done a lot for it. Hurry. Kicks the 10 out. And Weber now will have his second opportunity for the double. Last week, in the first game, he had 4 strikes. Was unable to get the double. Turned in 196. Then came back with 229 and 247. Burton in the 7th. Well, the young fella answered the challenge, Bill.
Well, looks like they're going to battle this out ball for ball, frame for frame. The first one that breaks out with a string of strikes has the edge naturally, and they're both looking for it. Let's see who gets that first double.
Well, for the youngster that he is, he certainly has all the composure, confidence of a fella that has been in this type of competition for many years. Up, up, up. Solid 10-pin. Beautiful.
Of course, Nelson Burton Jr. has the tools to back him up. It's one thing to have confidence, and if you can't produce, you soon lose that confidence. But he's been able to come through many times on a PBA tour. Fantastic record for a youngster.
The cover for Burton. And here's a chance for Dick Weber to take the lead for the first time. This is Dick's second shot at a double. He's high again, and this time the 6-pin again with company. Didn't get away with that one. Weber takes the 1, his first open frame. He left a 5-7 in the 5th frame, but converted it. Now the 4-6. And Weber is stopped in the 8th with 132. And that puts Burton 15 pins out in front. We're in the 9th frame of the first game. Of 3 this week, the final 3 next week, the World Series of Championship Bowling. Weber now with a strike in that important 9th frame.
Well, that's the Weber ball there. The last two times on lane number 23, tight line, little extra added zip to the ball, perfect hits.
I think Nellie dropped that one, Bill.
Yes, and that's unusual for Nelson Burton Jr. because, Fred, as we were remarking in other shows, he actually has to force his thumb in the thumb hole. He has to add pressure. You can just see his thumb give, and he does this to get a secure grip on the ball so he won't drop it. Apparently his thumb has gone down a little bit.
Burton with his second miss of the game, and the boys are playing give and take here. At the end of 9 for Burton, his second miss, 152. So this match even to the pin. If Weber does not double, Weber on the strike, we go into the 10th frame. Nelson Burton Jr. This will be the second time in 9 games that the youngster, or correction, he has yet to be under 200. Well, we're thinking of Dick Weber, who started last week with 196, but the lowest game that Nelson has had in 9 outs is 206. Right back. Got the line now. A full count for 182. So Weber will actually need a double to win the first game.
Well, certainly missing that bucket to 2-4-5-8 didn't shake up young Burton as much as I thought it might. Came back with 2 beautiful strikes. Chance to strike out for 182.
There it is. How about that? 3 beautiful strikes. And this should prove a point, as Bill Bonetta just mentioned. After missing a spare, the tendency might be to be a little down, but this fellow bounced right back with 3 solid strikes. We look at Dick Weber. Needs this one to win the first game. Leaves the 10 pin. So Burton, with 2 misses, will take at least 10 pins into the second game. No bonus money here in the first game. The boys have picked up $4,400 in bonus money in our matches thus far. The conversion by Weber, the count 172. Dick started slow last week with 196. He had no opens, but no doubles. Came back with 5 in a row in the second game for 229 and finished with 247 for 672.
Well, Fred, maybe we can ask the boys how they felt about this game.
Dick just turns away from that one, the full count for 172. 172 for Weber, 182 for Nelson Burton. Dick, I'm just wondering if this first game, the stakes have changed a bit, the ball a little heavier?
No, the ball isn't heavy, or it's not the lane, it's just me. I just realized that I had my spot in too close on lane 24, and that's the reason I swing to the nose most of the time. So I moved my spot back on a little bit farther and makes me reach a little bit more so I can reach a pocket.
Nellie, you've been a little cautious here the first game.
Well, Freddie, on 24, I've had my troubles, too. I was trying to go straight in the pocket, and I think I'm going to have to swing the ball a little bit. Either that or throw a little harder.
Well, we've got 2 games to go this week, and I know you're all thinking of 3 more next week. $10,000 to the winner, $5,000 to the runner-up. It's the World Series of Championship Bowling from Akron, Ohio, the home of Firestone. Nelson Burton Jr. starting the second game, all games starting from the left. Nellie getting out with a 10-pin lead. Misses the head pin, the 1-2-4.
Well, it's 3 balls that young Burton has dropped, Fred. And he likes to have his thumb up. That is, he likes to practice a lot of games. His thumb puffs up a little bit. He likes it that way. Most bowlers don't. He likes a secure grip on the ball, and I can see why. I just saw him force that thumb in the thumb hole, though, so it must not be too loose.
Nice cover for Burton. The spare in the first frame, Dick Weber now, who mentioned that he's going to move farther to the right and throw it just a little harder, as the boys say. Overhand. Here it comes. Doesn't quite hold that pocket. Leaves the 4-pin. Looked like he might kick that one out of there.
Yes, we had a blocker in there.
In his match last week against Hardwick, 2 key strikes. Dick kicked that 4-pin out, and it fell this way, and that was about the difference.
Let's watch what Dick does on this 4-pin. Remember, this lane has a tendency to keep hooking on that side.
No mistake this time. Dick stayed right down on it. Both boys with spares in the first frame. It's still Burton. 10 pins out in front. The boys starting very cautiously. Weber with a 4-6 split. And he missed the 4-pin. Burton with 2 misses. The shaker. That's the famous Weber mix.
It certainly is. That is one of the key shots in Weber's repertoire of shots. He trips the 4-pin quite well and mixes a light hit and also carries, of course, the solid hits. That's about enough shots for anyone, Fred.
We notice one of Nellie's close friends on the tour here in the audience this week in Akron, young Mike Lemongello, one of our field. There's a strike. Both Mike and Nellie making their first appearance on a championship bowling series. Lemongello had 1260 for his 2 appearances, finished 5th. And Nellie, of course, was the second highest scorer. Harry Smith had 1401, Burton 1329. This is the start of the finals, the World Series of Championship Bowling. There we go.
Well, Fred, apparently he had a secure grip on that ball because there were no signs of dropping that one. Gave the ball a little loft out on the lane, good lift, and what a powerhouse of a ball.
Weber now on the spot. Burton has his double. Well, there's the mark of the great champion that Dick Weber is and has been for these many years. 3 times the National All-Star champion. He just had to have that one or Burton might have got away from him.
He just doesn't like to let anyone get ahead of him.
For the turkey. Doesn't quite make it. The 2-4-5-8.
Well, this spare has bothered Nelson Burton. Let's see what Dick Weber does with it.
Well, he had to sweat that one out. That 5-pin looked like it might be left. Nelson Burton on 2. And now let's watch this youngster in slow motion. Big lift. And Burton now with 3. It's interesting, Bill, in the 9 games, 10 games now that Burton has bowled, he's only cashed for bonus money once and still averaging 221.
Well, rather consistent performance of doubles and turkeys. How cool he was in that last release.
Dropped it. 1-2-4-10, the washout. And that keeps Dick Weber in this match.
Well, I have to agree with the fellows, Fred, that the lane number 23 is the key to winning this match, as it has been in past matches.
Weber open in the 5th, passing the head pin. Correction, Burton open as we watch Weber moving in the 5th. That gives Burton 102. In the 5th, his 3rd miss in a game and a half. There we are. No, Dick is shaking his head. We're at the end of 5 in the second game. We're halfway. Weber is 86, strike. Burton is open with 102. Sixth frame. Here in the second game, Weber with a strike can take the lead. 8-pin is touched but does not fall, so it's still Burton out in front by 6 pins here in the sixth frame.
Well, we could very clearly see the 5-pin just touch the 8, but not hard enough to knock it down.
Weber with a spare. That's 106 in the fifth against Burton's 102. So Weber leads by 4. He trailed at the end of the first game by 10. Burton with a spare in 3, making the big mistake in the fifth. The 1, 2, 4, 10. 4-pin.
Well, it looks like most of his troubles have come on balls he has dropped. That time it seemed he made an extra effort to get the ball over the foul line, lift it to get the ball rolling stronger.
Burton covers the 4 in the sixth. We go into the seventh. 106 spare, 102 spare. The youngster moving left. Neither bowler unable to break loose. It looked like Burton might be on his way. But here in the fifth, a little wide, seemed to drop it. Left the 1, 2, 4, 10. This time, right back in the pocket. With a strike in the seventh as Weber moves in the seventh, working on that spare. Looked like Dick was a little cautious of that nose that time. He's been high here on the right side, Bill.
Yes, he has. He's trying to keep up his zip on the ball, and yet the timing has to be nearly perfect to enable him to do so. It's just a little bit ahead of the ball. I noticed that there haven't been too many taps. They're either real good balls or quite a bit off.
Weber picking up that spare, going away. As we've pointed out here over these many weeks, as you've watched these great stars in action, lane 24 has a peculiarity in that a ball, once it passes the 2-pin, begins to break very sharply. We're into the 8th. Weber with a good strike. There's still room for bonus money. Weber's got to go all the way. And the youngster, Nelson Burton Jr., on a strike. A chance to extend that margin, which is very slim. Big lift. He doesn't make it. The 2-5.
You just gave me a little signal a while ago, Fred, that his thumb hole wasn't too loose. It was just a little bit slippery. And that could be caused by perspiration, a little bit of oil perhaps on his hands, maybe from aftershave lotion, hair tonic. He has to be extremely careful.
Nice cover. Of course, that also could be that $10,000 bill that is floating around over the heads of these two fellas. So at the end of 8, now it's Weber in the driver's seat. Dick is on the strike. Burton on the spare. Weber leading in this game by just 1 pin. The margin, 9 pins in the second game. Burton out in front. Right back in the pocket. So I'm sure that Dick is doing a lot of thinking here. This is the key strike of this game.
Well, one of them would like to break loose, and I'm certain that Dick Weber is just thinking about that. Get 2, 3, 4 strikes in a row.
4 pin. So it's still Burton leading by 9 pins. And Burton has the strike now to go on in the ninth. Weber should cover this spare. Dick has had one double this game, 4 strikes. Burton caught an early triple, and then the 1, 2, 4, 10. Very damaging in the 5th. Weber covers. We go into the 10th frame. The World Series of Championship Bowling. These boys will meet again next week. It's 6 games, total pins, deciding the winner. Over $70,000 in prizes. A 6-pin count, and Weber on that spare will lose 4 more pins.
Well, this combination may be the key to the whole match, Fred. Dick has left it a few times, made it every time, and young Burton has left it and missed it twice.
Nice cover. Boy, that 4-pin was the last one out of there, Bill. That would have been very unusual.
A little unusual and sometimes even embarrassing. Most of the stars don't like to pick off a pin like that. Dick covered it beautifully, though. It just looked like it was a little bit light on that 4-pin.
For the count, Dick Weber without an open, 1 double, 199. So Dick losing 11 pins in count as Nelson Burton Jr. now with a chance to take a lead into the 3rd and final game on a strike. Still a potential 222. He doesn't get there, and another washout. So Nellie will need this one to win the 2nd game. All he needed was a spare.
Actually, neither bowler has been able to take advantage of his opponent the way we would normally expect. Usually to give a man a chance like they've given each other, the other bowler takes advantage of it.
Burton is open. That's his 3rd miss of the match. So Weber winning the 2nd game with 199. Burton with 190. So the margin is 1 pin. Weber winning the 2nd game by 9 pins. He lost the 1st game by 10 pins. So the margin, 1 pin at the end of 2 games. 1 game to follow here in the first half of the finals in the World Series of Bowling on Championship Bowling. And let's ask Nellie here just a moment. Nellie, that's the 2nd washout you've looked at here today.
Well, Freddie, I'm trying to throw a little harder because I was going high and not coming out of the ball clean, not getting the lift on it, and just skids right by the hip pin.
Is your thumb as tight as you want it?
Well, I tightened it up for about the 7th frame, and it feels a little better. If I can just get the feel of it and get it working the last game, I'll be all right, I think.
Dick, 1 game to go. You're trailing by 1 solid pin.
That's right, Fred, but I need some instructions.
You need some instructions?
Yeah.
You're one of the great instructors. We have Bill Bonetta here, but we just don't have time for instructions. You're on your own, Dick. 1 game to go. Ladies and gentlemen, Fred Wolf, along with Bill Bonetta. We're in Akron, Ohio, where the World Series of Golf is played annually. Dick Weber starting the 3rd and final game of the first half of the finals in the World Series of Championship Bowling. Starting it off with a beautiful strike. Dick throwing that frozen rope, Bill.
Yes, he's used that on occasion to his advantage. It's a sort of a desperation shot when you can't control the ball on the lane. You take a chance and throw it right in the pocket, 60 feet away on a straight line.
Oh, look at that action. So Burton matching Weber's strike in the first frame of the 3rd and final game. Nellie has had 2 washouts. He missed the 2-4-5-8. His first misses in his competition here on Championship Bowling. Incidentally, his first Championship Bowling series, and here he is a finalist, bowling his longtime idol, Dick Weber. High, leaves the 7.
Well, bad as that was, Fred, it looked like he had a good chance to carry it. He had about 3 pins that almost pushed that 7-pin off the deck.
Weber now with a chance to take the lead again. Dick has been unable to get that key strike. He's actually been trailing all the way. Here's the big opportunity. He's on a strike in the first frame. Four, 7, too tight. It's still Burton by 1 pin.
Well, that's where he could have used the frozen rope again. That ball took a little tail to the left on the very end, and Dick didn't need that.
Spare for both Weber and Burton. We go into the 3rd frame. Here in the audience this week, Mr. Walter Schwimmer, the executive producer of Championship Bowling, enjoying all the suspense and drama. Hurry. Boy, Dick making with the wind-up motion, and he got a good piece of that pocket, but the 7 is still there.
Well, even though the scoring isn't extremely high, it's certainly an interesting match to see how these boys appear to be fencing frame for frame.
Crowding that pocket, 6-10. We're in the 3rd. And with an 8-pin count and this conversion, ladies and gentlemen, with 7 frames to go, this match is tied to the pin.
Well, for Nellie, 23 lane has been a little bit better than 24. So I would guess, Fred, that if he's going to start any string, it will be on lane number 23.
Four pin. Nellie showing a little concern in not carrying that one. I think the first bit of emotion that we have seen from the youngster, he sort of takes the breaks as they come. And now, for all you folks around the country who watch championship bowling, take a good look at one of the great ones, Dick Weber, in slow motion. This could be the start of something big. 59 for Weber in the 3rd, on the strike. Burton is 57 on the spare. Weber now leading for the first time by 1 pin. For the double. Oh, what? Well, that took a long time. That was actually in slow motion, too, Bill.
Boy, Freddie, I was watching those 3 white dots on his Amer Classic ball, and even from this position, I could see the path of the ball, and it was in the pocket all the way. A little bit light, but certainly a very effective ball.
There's the answer. 4 pin. 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 4 pin So at the end of 5, in the third and final game, the first half of the finals of the World Series on Championship Bowling, Weber is 59 in the third on 2 strikes. Burton is 77 in the fourth on a single strike. Go! Wow! Well, there's the first Brooklyn strike that we have seen, Bill, in many a week here on Championship Bowling in Akron, Ohio, and I know it's the first one that Burton has had in 11 games. The 4-pin, and the boys stay neck and neck. This lead has never been more than the 10 pins. The first game, Weber 172, Burton 182. Weber winning the second game by 9 pins, 199 to 190. Burton took 1 pin into this, the third game. Weber with the cover. So at the end of 6 for Dick Weber, 108 spare. Burton on the double. So the match virtually tied again. Nice and easy. So Weber with a strike in the 7th. And I'm wondering if things are going to start a-poppin' here. Could be. There it is. So Burton now out in front again. That's a triple for him as he moves left. Bonus money, still room for both Weber and Burton. But I'm sure that bonus money is not that important. These boys just want enough pins to beat their opponent.
That's right. They're not competing against anyone else except themselves, and it's a relative score that counts. As long as you beat your opponent by 1 single pin, you're a winner.
Set it. There it is. Well, it's like you've mentioned many times, Bill. Sometimes it takes a little kick, a little break to get somebody going. Now, Burton picked up that Brooklyn and then came home beautifully with 2 solid pocket strikes, and Weber must have this one. The 7-pin.
Well, that was interference. The ball came off the left sidewall, and a pin did, and another pin was going for the 7, and the 2 collided, and neither one of them touched the 7. A bad break, really, for Dick Weber.
Weber covers in the 8. So for Weber, it's 148. And the spare, Nelson Burton, now out in front by approximately 20 pins. And he works on 4 in a row and a potential 257. We're in the 9th. Oh, for that 7-pin.
Well, that 7-pin cost him 20 pins. Had he carried, it would have been a real close match again. Of course, it still is.
Here's the strike for the start of bonus money. Nelson Burton, big turn. He's got away with a 4-7, and the youngster now is on his way. He almost smiled, Bill. Almost smiled. $250 worth as he moves left. That's only the second time that Burton has hit for bonus money. In his first 9 games, he averaged $221 and only had 2 open frames. In the 10th, on 5. No. There's an unusual lead, Bill, really. The 9-pin. You could see 2 pins pass it, 1 on each side.
That's right. Now, he started that string, the second one of it, with a Brooklyn, and he ended it with the Brooklyn.
Well, that gives Weber a chance to close the gap. However, 5 in a row has put the youngster out in front in this, the 3rd and final game of the first half of the World Series of Championship Bowling here in Akron, Ohio, the rubber capital of the world. Fred Wolf, along with Bill Bonetta, and a capacity crowd at the Firestone Bowl. The count for 2:36. Oh, he'd like that other one over. 2:36. Weber can go all the way for 2:28. This is a key strike, Bill, right here.
Well, I'm sure Dick's well aware of it, and he'll give it his all.
There it is. He gets the 10 out of there. So this can cut that margin down to where it's just a matter of a flip of the coin. Had Dick not come through with that one, he might have given the youngster about a 30-pin lead going into next week. Right now, he can chop that to pieces, 228. Burton could win it by 8 pins. The margin could be as little as 9 pins. He leaves the 10, so the right side has been damaging to Weber. He left that 7-pin on a strike in the 8th, came back with a strike in the 9th, got his first one in the 10th, and the cover here will give him 217. 6:08 for Burton. For Weber, 217 and 588.
I'd like to ask a question, Fred. On that 7-pin, Dick, did you feel that was a good ball? It looked real good from here.
Well, it felt like a good ball, and I thought I was really going to cut him out of there. But as you've seen, the 5-pin stopped short of the 7. And meant the difference in the match, I believe. Right there.
Nellie, I'd like to ask you a question. When is the last time you've been over on the Jersey side there like that?
Well, I don't know, Freddie. I've been having trouble holding the pocket, so I moved in the last game, and I had a tendency to pull the ball back. And that's a bad shot, so I haven't been bowling that way during the show, and I had to make the change because I was in trouble. And it worked out. I got that good break. It's the difference so far.
Did you think you were going to get that second Brooklyn?
Yeah,
pretty
good.
You would have taken it.
Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back and have another word with these two fellas as we get ready for the big final, the final 3 games next week on Championship Bowling here in Akron, Ohio, the rubber capital of the world. Here are the final results for Dick Weber, 172, 199, and 217. His total is 588. For Nelson Burton Jr., 182, 190, a 236 finish. His total 608. The margin, 20 pins. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a little round of applause for a great job? I know the scores were not up to your expectations, Dick, but then it's quite a battle. 20 pins certainly is not too much to worry about, is it?
Well, I don't want to give this fellow too much lead. You know, you can't give him any handicap, that's for sure. He's a professional and not a handicap bowler.
You know, I was looking at the games, and it happened to you against Billy Hardwick last week, and I believe in Nelson Burton's last 2 matches. You boys keep improving. I would suggest you start a little higher and then keep improving. We'll have a big total.
Well, I like to start with about a 250 and then improve.
And then improve.
Yeah.
Well, Nelson, you've maintained your record of never being under 600. However, your average has dropped a bit down to 217 for your games thus far.
Well, I have a whole week to work on it and get this pair down real well, and I hope I can improve on it.
Do you have any changes in your mind? Are you going to change your tactics at all?
Well, I'm going to change my timing a little bit. I think I'll move a little farther in, Freddie.
Farther in?
Right.
Dick, what are your changes?
Well, I'm going to be stubborn and stay at the same place I am, but just try to follow through with the ball a little bit more.
Are you going to throw a little harder?
No, I don't think I need to throw any harder. Just go through with the ball, that's all.
All right, $250 bonus money. I almost forgot that, Bo. That's the second time you've hit the bonus department. A big 236 finish to pull it out. Good luck to you next week. 3 games to go. And to you, Dick Weber, ladies and gentlemen, let's wish him well next week. Good luck to you. Well, sure hope you can join us for the big one next week. The final 3 games here from the Firestone Bowl Rama in Akron, Ohio. Dick Weber and Nelson Burton Jr., the final 3 games in the World Series of Championship Bowling. Speaking for Bill Burnett and myself, this is Fred Wolf. You keep 'em bowling out there, will you? It's great fun. And I'll tell you why. It's 'cause bowling makes you feel like you'd like to. Matching shirts and slacks used on championship bowling by King Louie. Championship bowling is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, and we wish to thank AMF for their cooperation in helping us produce championship bowling.